What's up, Get Wrecked for Recovery crew? So I'm home. Oh, it feels so good to be home. It does not feel good to be in the humidity again though. It is like 95 degrees with 100% humidity every single day. It's so hot, so muggy. There's people outside mowing grass. I apologize for any noise that you'll hear, but you guys wanted an Amtrak video about Amtrak and bicycling and what all it takes to take a bicycle onto an Amtrak train. What are the things you run into? I had so many people comment and ask on the C&O Canal towpath and the Gap Trail about how to do that, because one of the huge things about the C&O and Gap is people like to park their car in DC and take the train and their bike up to Pittsburgh and then ride back down. The only problem is you get to Pittsburgh at 11:59 p.m. at night. So you have to find a hostel in the area or a hotel or ride through the night. But I wanted to highlight some of the things I found over time with Amtrak. I've taken quite a few Amtrak train rides now. New Orleans to LA, LA to Seattle, New Orleans to Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C. to Fort Lauderdale, Pittsburgh to Cleveland, Cleveland to Buffalo, New York, and then Boston to Baltimore, and Boston to New Orleans. So I've learned a lot, I've gleaned a lot of information from doing so many Amtrak rides with all of my luggage and the bikes. The bike and the, oh, there's the Giant. She's all taken apart. You can see my handlebars hung up in the frame. So for those of you new to the channel, my name is Adam, and I'm riding through 48 states over 4 years. Got 27 states down for addiction recovery awareness, to help people understand that there are addiction recovery options available, that you don't have to die in your addiction. There's churches, Celebrate Recoveries, and rescue missions all over the nation, all over the world, that just want to help you, talk to you, and love you if you find yourself battling addiction. I also ride each day for someone who's passed away from addiction. So if you know anybody who has, drop their name in the comments, and I'd love to pedal for them. And then I'm also riding, the whole end goal of these rides is to build a rehab, build a recovery facility, a 90-day in-house Christian rehabilitation program for addiction recovery, so that people can hopefully come and be set free. So with all that being said, here's the information I've learned about Amtrak. On my very first Amtrak train ride, I had no idea what I was doing. I was super hesitant, trepidatious a little. Didn't quite know. All I could see was, what Amtrak put on their website, and that was pretty much it. And that may be what you're facing. You've never been on an Amtrak before with a bicycle, so you don't know what to expect. And I want to help you with that. So to take a bicycle on Amtrak, it's only $20. That's easy. Now, if you're going to take connecting trains, so if your route, like when I went from New Orleans to Seattle, I had to take 2 trains, the Sunset Limited and then the Coast Starlight. You'll pay $20 for each train ride. But the great news about Amtrak is you don't have to take the bike apart. You don't have to take pedals off the bike. Ha! So it's not like flying home or boxing the bike up to ship it somewhere and put it together when you get there, sitting in an airport, putting a bicycle together. Especially like I've got a hub dynamo and wiring all inside the steer tube. There's just so much. I know that you face the same issues and concerns in your own mind, and it's tough to fly a bike. I mean, I don't mind flying a bike home because I've got all my tools here that I can put the bike back together with. But flying to somewhere or getting somewhere especially, and then being like, yep, I'm in the airport and now I've got to put a bicycle together. It's not what I want to do. So I looked at Amtrak as being an option, and that's what I went with, and I have loved it. My very first Amtrak rides were at the beginning of COVID. So I went out into COVID, and Amtrak was giving you 2 seats for the price of 1, and you could take your mask off in your seat section. Since then, that has all changed. Every other train ride I've been on since then, you have to wear your mask the entire train ride. So if you're on an 84-hour train ride, you will have your mask on for 84 hours unless you're in the bathroom. As a matter of fact, even if you're asleep, they will come wake you up, tap you on the shoulder, and say, hey, your mask is down. And that's totally dependent on the conductor and the people that are actually working the train at the time. I've had a lot of different experiences with that, and I don't really want, I don't want to include all the information about the train rides without giving you the bad side of it too. But yeah, that's no fun. A mask for 84 hours is no fun. Also, now that COVID restrictions have eased and the social distancing guidelines are a little bit less, they will put you in a seat with a random person. So if you're riding coach, you're going to end up with, you're rolling the dice on who you get. I have been super fortunate in most of my train rides to end up sitting next to some wonderful people. Just absolutely great time on Amtrak as far as the people experience anytime I've had to sit next to other people. Amtrak is usually on time. However, it's going to be late before it's ever early. And it could be very late. Rolled into Atlanta on the way to Washington, D.C. on my trip down to Fort Lauderdale. And a lady fell on the train, and so we had to wait for her. She had to lay there in the aisle while paramedics came from Atlanta, and then they had to board her, put her on the board, tie her down to the board, because then they got to lift her off the train, down off the train. We ended up being 3.5 hours late to our destination. So do factor that in. It's just like with an airplane. It's not going to be early, but it could be late. So do know that when you plan. Other than that, though, that's really all the downside that I can think of. COVID mask the entire time, not really having a break to take those off, and then the fact that it could be late. Everything else, though, is an upgrade. So you can bring your own food on the train. You can bring your own drinks. You can, bring whatever you need for the time that you're going to be on the train. You're going to be on the train for a while. They do move a little bit slower. You got a lot of stops that you have to make. Like I went from New Orleans to Seattle. That was an 84-hour train ride. Coming back home this time from Boston to New Orleans was a 38-hour train ride. So it's a long time, but the beautiful thing about it is it's time to either, disconnect from your normal everyday life, your job or whatever, and get ready for your cycle tour. Or it is also time to, on the way home to kind of get back in the, okay, I'm going back to work mindset. But it's a good time of just chilling out and either, getting ready or getting ready either way. So for $20, you can ride Amtrak train. Now, like I said, if there's, a connecting train, so if you are going from New Orleans to Seattle, you're going to be on 2 trains, and you'll have to pay $20 for each one of those train rides. And there's 2 different types of trains that I've found that Amtrak has. One is the kind that you actually have to rack the bike inside the train. You have to take the front wheel off the bicycle, take all your panniers and your luggage off. You have to rack the front wheel take the front wheel off the bicycle, rack the bicycle, hang it upside down. The forks go against the wall. It's got a strap that straps the frame down, and then you set the tire in next to the bicycle. And then there's the other kind, which is where they have a luggage car at the back of the train that they load your bike onto. Now with the luggage car, I found 2 separate types of trains, train stations. The luggage car trains, with the ones where you rack the bike inside, you can get off at any stop, about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes before you get to your stop. But when the conductor comes by and says, hey, 15 minutes till Atlanta, that's when you want to get up and go ahead and put your front wheel on, take the bike out, put your front wheel on, get everything ready. You're going to roll it off the train, and then all of your luggage will be up above your seat. So you'll have to get it off real quickly. You got 3 to 5 minutes there at most of the stops. There are some longer stops where they'll smoke, have a smoke break, and then there's some just longer stops, like 15-minute stops, sometimes 30-minute stops, where they're doing things to the train also. If you're on a luggage car, though, there's only certain stops along your route where they deal with the luggage. And so you'll have to plan your trip accordingly, where hey, okay, I'm only gonna be able to take the bike off here, here, and here. And so The only way I've found out that you can really know the difference is to go onto Amtrak's website, pull up the train that you want to ride, go down and select, bicycle, and see if there's any availability. They've only got a certain amount of availability for bicycles on each train, so you want to kind of plan that a little bit in advance. And then when you figure out what route that is and which one you're picking, look at that train number and then go Google it and say, Amtrak train, whatever. And it'll kind of give you the list, or you can kind of see like Amtrak's website, and you can find out about that specific train and whether you're racking your bike on the inside or whether it's a luggage car train. You can find out where the stops are. There's so many combinations there. I'm not going to get into all that, but you can definitely find it. You just need to know your train number so that you can find out what kind of train you're going to be on. But like I said, there's a luggage car option, and so with that, I found two different types of ways that they do that service. One is you go into the station, you roll up to the counter, and they give you two tags. Well, so with your luggage, by the way, one great thing about Amtrak is you get two checked bags. So I always check these two yellow ones, and I make sure there's nothing in them that I'll need. Nothing for how long the train ride is. Then you get two carry-on bags. So that's usually this cooler and then my red tent bag up here. And that has my sleeping bag and my pillow. You're going to want to be comfortable. You're sitting up most of the time, but you got a lot of leg room. And the seat leans back a pretty good ways. It's easier to sleep, than an airplane, for sure. And then you get two personal items. So that ends up being my two front panniers. That's all like part of the $20 in the train ticket. Like, you don't have to pay anything else for all the stuff that you're bringing with you. You're just paying $20 for the bike. It's great. It's great. So those checked bags, you want to make sure that you have nothing in it that you're going to need, and then everything else you're going to have on the train with you. And so you would roll up to the counter at this type of station, and you're going to want to roll up to the counter anyway and ask them, hey, do I check my luggage here? And they're going to let you know, yes, you do. Here's the little stickers, tickets, or whatever. Now, I have never had them take the train from me there at the desk. I've always had to roll the train down the platform to the luggage car at the back of the train. Even though they've taken these two yellow panniers from me, I put the red bag on my back with the backpack straps, and I just roll the bike with the front pannier still attached to it all the way to the end of the platform. Luggage car is always going to be at the very back of the train. And then I unclip the front panniers and hand them the bike, and they put it on the train, and then it's good. They actually rack it inside the train. You'll get on the train, you'll go to your destination. When you get to your destination, they will take the bike off, and you'll get it from some staging area. So like a particular place that they'll have the bike ready for you. And they'll let you know where that is, and it's pretty self-explanatory. So you'll get your stuff back off from over your seat, you'll walk back out, you'll go to this staging area, and you'll see your bike and your panniers there, or you'll go back into the train hall, the lobby area, and you'll wait, and they'll call you and say, hey, so-and-so, train number 91 luggage is ready. So yeah, then you go get your bike, clip it all back on, and you roll on out of there and cycle to your hostel, or cycle to your campsite, or cycle to your friend's house, or your warm shower host, wherever you're going, hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Then the second type of train that I've found is luggage car, right? You roll your bicycle into the train station and you ask them, hey, where do I need to check my bags? And they'll say, you don't. You take them all on the train with you. So even though your bike is going to be in a luggage car, it's so strange. I don't know why they do this. You're taking all your stuff with you. So you roll your bike down to the end of the ramp, and the only thing they take is the bike. I really don't know why they've done this, but this has happened several times, and I do not understand it. Why they would have a luggage car and checked luggage, but not check luggage at the station. I don't know if that's just like random, that it's happened to me like 5 times, but it doesn't seem right, but it's what I've experienced, so I'm just sharing my experience with you. So in those situations, you don't check anything. You don't get any tickets. You just roll your bike to the back of the train, they put the bike on, and then you take everything all the way back down the platform all the things back down the platform to your car that you're going to be in, and then you put it all over your seat and you're good. Really not quite sure why they do that one, but it's one of the things and complications that I ran into this last time. So on this last trip, I ended up, I was coming into New York from Boston, and Chris Stoll with Stage Notes that I rode with on the Outer Banks in the Atlantic Coast Cycle Tour, the REACCT Tour. He saw that I was heading home and he was like, hey, I'm in New York, you know, that's where he lives. He's like, I'm at work. I'd like to buy you a slice of pizza and a Coca-Cola and bring it to you. I was like, that would be great. So he came and we ate. We had a great time, talked. But at the very end of that, it was like 15 minutes till they called and said, hey, you know, train number whatever's boarding, you can't actually go to the platform until they call your train, and they're going to do that like 15 minutes until. And so I was like, okay, well, I get in line for the elevator because at Moynihan train station, you got to take an elevator down to the platform. There's no other way. And so like each platform has its own elevator. So I had to wait in line, and by the time I got down there, it was like 2 minutes until the train boarded. I got all the way to the end of the platform, and they were like, where's your checked bag tags? I was like, I didn't get any. And they were like, well, you had to go get some. I was like, I didn't have to have them in Boston. Boston, they wanted me to just get on the train. I thought I was good from there. Like, you know, I didn't understand that I needed to go back to an Amtrak desk mid-ride and get tags now when I didn't need tags from Boston down. I was on a commuter rail type thing, you know, where I racked it on the inside. So here's my favorite bit of advice. Every time you get off the train, you make a connection, you're going to have to get everything back off. Every time, go to the desk. Since you're in a special situation with a bike and all this luggage and stuff, go to the desk at the train station that you're making the connection at and say, what do I need to do for you guys? I'm here. Just show up like you're brand new and say, I'm here. What do I need to do to get checked in onto this train? Because every single station is different. There is no, it's strange. It's really strange how they don't have like a really solid way that all that works. But again, 10 out of 10, I recommend it. The Amtrak food on board, they don't take cash, so you have to have a card if you're planning on eating on the train. And it's just like microwave, it's whatever they can put in a microwave. So microwave hamburgers, microwave hot dogs, microwave breakfast bowls, and they run out of stuff if you're on a longer train ride or you're getting on toward the end of a train ride. They do run out. So I've always chosen to, you know, carry some food with me and then just plan for like dinner. Get a couple of the hot dogs or get a hamburger and just have one meal a day on the train. Also to keep costs low because it's very expensive food on the actual train rides. But yeah, you can go all over the United States. It's a long time, but it's almost romantic in a way because you get to see the world at a much slower pace. You're not having to drive. You're not having to do anything. You know, when you're in a plane, once you take off and get into the clouds, it's the same thing. Like if you're on a 30-hour plane flight, it's so boring because it's blue sky. That's it. Blue sky, and there's land way down there. On a train, I mean, you're going through every type of ecosystem and across lakes and through mountain passes and up mountain passes, and it's phenomenal. I really like taking the train. One side note that I realized my very first train ride that really caught me off guard. When I left out of New Orleans on my very first Amtrak, I was in one of the cars very close to the front of the train. And so we were pulling out, and, you know, I was like, oh, there's the train whistle, boo, boo, you know, boo, boo. And I was like, oh, this is great. They blow the train whistle at every single road, cow crossing, dirt path that crosses the tracks all day long and all night long. If you're sitting in a train light in a car, you know, it blows the horn 3 or 4 times as it goes by. If you're on the train, you hear that all day long and all night long. Good news is that while my very first day of train riding, it was like really obnoxious and annoying. That next morning when I woke up, it was like 11 o'clock before I even realized that the train whistle was blowing anymore. Like it just, you become mute to it. And I have never noticed it again since. So your very first train ride, it's going to be a bit like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this, but it goes away so fast and it never comes back. Like, it's just one of those things. It's really strange. At least for me, it worked that way. So, to give you some experiential view of what an Amtrak might be, you now know all the information that you need to know if you're going to ride Amtrak. But for the rest of this video, I'm going to do kind of like a video of me coming home from the REACCT tour. Well, good morning, Get Wrecked for Recovery crew. So it's July 9th, 2021, and I am going to go on the Amtrak down to Mobile, Alabama. I'm going from Boston to Mobile. It's 2 trains. It's a train from Boston to New York's Moynihan Station, and then a 2-hour layover, and then a train from there to New Orleans, Louisiana, where my wife will pick me up to tomorrow night. I want to kind of record some info on bike riding on Amtrak and what you might want to expect, the things that you might want to do. I should be taking 2 types of service. One is a commuter rail. That one I'm going to have to rack the bike inside the train. The other one is going to be a luggage car, you know, where I can put the bike in the back. So I'll try to get both of those things. You do want to make sure with Amtrak that you're a little early, maybe 30 minutes. But being super early is not going to matter much. They won't even let you out of the ticket room until it's, you know, that time. 15 minutes till, I think, is what they go with. But the trains could be super late. That's one thing I have run into before, you know, hour, 2 hours late. So, either way, let's go. Alright, so that's the type of train. That's commuter rail. And that's the one you rack the bike in. So what you do is you hang the back wheel, take the front wheel off, put it next to it, and then there's a strap that kind of goes around the frame of the bike to hold everything locked together. So yeah, I am pulling out of Boston South Street Station now. About 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes before I'll get to New York, or before your stop. They'll come through and let you know your stop is next. About that time, it's good time to go ahead and get up, put the front wheel back on, you know, gather your things, kind of get them all to the door. Some stops on commuter rail are just go, go, go. So they want you off the train fast, like within 3 minutes. I think New York is a longer stop, so I shouldn't have to worry too much about that. Then I'll have a layover there in New York, and let's go. Just made the transfer to the elevator. Now, if only there was a friend here or something that would have some pizza ready for me. That'd be cool. All right, so it's Chris with Stage Notes. He brought me pizza. So good. Thank you so much. And a Coca-Cola. So how much money did you end up raising for Stage Notes?
Just over $7,500.
$7,500.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what I did. So
You pedaled your bike 3,000 miles.
I guess I did, yeah. So
Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad to see you back at work. Glad to see everything going well for you.
yeah, feeling good.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for the pizza. Thanks for the stop. So glad to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Awesome. All right, 37 hours later. Let's go get this bike off the train. All right, so we got a Lineberry family reunion here. Look at this little fella. Oh, hey, little fella. You see Dada? You Dada? Yeah. All right. I love you guys. Goodness gracious, I've missed y'all.